Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the match here on WWE 2K25. This one is Tavion Heights making his SWE debut as he goes up against AJ Francis. Now, yeah, Tavion Heights never been used by us before. He's not on the game yet, but I would imagine he's going to be on 2K26. And I don't know a ton about him, so I've got his Wikipedia page up, as we do. He is a former Greco-Roman wrestler who was actually part of the United States Olympic team back in 2026, which is pretty impressive. He has won various medals representing America in other competitions, got the World Championships, the Pan American Games, the Pan American Championships, all that sort of stuff. And just looking at his trained by section on Wikipedia, it's incredible. Trained by the WWE Performance Center, that's great, whatever. But also trained by the Great Muta and Naomichi Marufuji. That is one hell of a group of people to be trained by, I tell you. So yeah, he's interesting. I don't know a ton about him. It looks like he broke into NXT as part of No Quarter Catch crew. Is that correct? Alongside former members are Miles Bourne, Tavion Heights, Damon Kemp, Drew Gulak, and they've still got Charlie Dempsey and Ren Sinclair. That might be something we utilise a bit more in the universe mode, because I'm sure Damon Kemp is on the game. I might be wrong on that, actually. I don't actually know if that's correct or not, to be honest. But definitely something we could utilise. But what I'm interested as well is we have got a pay-per-view planned at some point in the future, which is going to be like current-day wrestlers versus historical wrestlers. And I think if Tavion Heights was a successful Greco-Roman wrestler, then maybe putting him up against someone like Kurt Angle, who also represented America in the Olympics, could actually be quite an interesting match. Of course, Tavion would be very much an underdog in that one. But it'll be interesting. It's maybe something we can do in terms of just an actual tournament, maybe. Who knows? And then we've got AJ Francis here. He's made one appearance so far in SWE. That was losing a few weeks back to... I can't remember who it was now, but I think it was at the TNA pay-per-view we did. So he lost that match. This is another opportunity for him to showcase what he can do. I don't think, in my opinion, I think AJ Francis is that great of a wrestler. We do have him in a couple of matches, I think, over the next few days. I think he's also got... Okay, so AJ Francis is also going to be involved in a match against Obafemi on Friday. And I think that's it, just these two appearances, which is probably more than he deserves, in fairness. I mean, I don't want to be harsh, but he's just not really my cup of tea, AJ Francis. And facing Obafemi, I think we've already seen earlier today how good Obafemi is. And I do feel like he's a heavy favourite for that one. This one's interesting. This one's a bit more even. You've got someone who is very much up and coming up against AJ Francis, who's having a pretty decent run at the moment. Of course, released from WWE, went across now and is sort of a strong competitor in TNA. He's never going to win a championship, but he's always getting TV and pay-per-view time, isn't he? So he's doing pretty decent for himself. Right then, so Tavion Heights, a big opportunity for him on his debut to showcase what he can do. AJ Francis on -1 after one match. We'll be hoping that he can turn it around, because I don't think that match coming up against Obafemi is really going to be in his favour. So for him, he needs to get this point, otherwise he could be dropping down to a -3, which would be quite a big descent for him. It would put him down into the bottom sort of 100 people in the roster. Which, I mean... If AJ Francis is down there, I don't think, for me, it's going to be the biggest surprise in the entire world. I'll say that, but it is what it is, isn't it? Right, anyway, these two guys locking up middle of the ring. Look at AJ Francis just pushing Tavion over. The pair of them now, collar and elbow inside the ring. And again, AJ Francis showing some big strength advantages here. Really just pushing AJ Francis around. I don't know, pushing Tavion Heights around, shall I say. Yeah, I know that they, both Tavion and Josh Briggs went to Pro Wrestling Noah to participate in the N1 Victory Tag Team Tournament. Did they go in with official... No, they went in singles, didn't they? Okay, they were both singles competitors. Both did pretty well. I mean, well, Josh Briggs did very well. He got 10. I think he was joint top of Block A. Tavion finished 3rd in Group B, which was pretty impressive. So both of them did pretty well over there. And it's a really good place for them to be honest. And I mean, I don't know why they've not done more of that. They had that little run where they were doing some work with the likes of Pro Wrestling Noah, and then they've sort of just pulled it away. They had that real run where they were letting a lot of the guys go out and do some independent work. And you still get a little bit in Bloodsport for GCW. Obviously, AAA now is owned by WWE, so sending people over there is not a problem whatsoever. Obviously, TNA as well. I think Tavion Heights would be someone perfect for TNA for a bit. And that's what they need to do. I mean, I don't know how many of you out there watch... I don't know how it works with American football, but in normal football, real man's football, or soccer in the US, you call it, what they tend to do is when they have a younger person who's not quite ready to be on the main stage, they loan that person out to a smaller team to allow them to participate at the best level they can, and it helps them progress and get better and better. And I know obviously they've got NXT, but I feel like sometimes sending people to work at the likes of Noah for a bit, like they did with these guys, sending people over to TNA for a bit to work, and it's definitely a good idea, especially with the rumours recently that a lot of TNA contracts are due to expire in the next week or so after Bound for Glory this weekend. It gives you that opportunity to allow TNA to continue working at a good level and being able to book some solid competitors that are up and coming. It's a benefit to WWE. Because, I mean, some of these people, like, don't get me wrong, I've not watched a lot of NXT recently. I don't know how good Tavion Heights actually is, but he's not a name I see a lot in the grand scheme of NXT. So maybe if they see TNA as a step down from NXT, which I'm assuming WWE do, because that's just the way they work, maybe it would make sense for them to allow some of those guys that are not quite ready to be on full-time NXT television to work TNA and then prove themselves to then take that place on NXT television when some of the big NXT names move up to the main roster. And then you've permanently always got that sort of step up. Same with Evolve. You've got Evolve knocking around, so maybe Evolve can be sort of like the feeder into TNA, and then TNA feeds into NXT. You've sort of got like an entire pyramid of companies that people work through to get to the very, very top. I mean, that's my plan of how they should revolutionize the entirety of wrestling, but there you go. The strike in the gut there by AJ Francis gets on the back of Tavion Heights. Yeah, I don't really know what to do with Tavion much, to be honest. I mean, the former Greco-Roman stuff is interesting. It's something we can definitely get some use out of. Be that whether we bring him into the into potentially the Bloodsport division. I don't know if it really works for that, to be honest. I am looking at bringing in like an alternative to the Bloodsport, which is more down the technical wrestler route, so like a pure championship, and maybe as a Greco-Roman background, that could be something that's useful for him to do. But I don't know what his finishing maneuvers are, but he could be very effective in that sort of area of the roster. Tavion Heights finishes. What's his finishing maneuver? None of that is stuff that I need. I did just see Cage Match pop up. I think Cage Match has that sort of information. Tavion Heights, there's a big spear there by AJ Francis. I do think AJ Francis, in my opinion, should be the underdog for this, even though he's probably more experienced. Style is a technical wrestler, so he probably does suit more the pure style then. He'd just be that sort of young lad up and coming into that area. He is 28 years of age, so I say young lad a little bit loosely. As AJ Francis with a 2 count. I thought that Cage Match gave you some of his signature moves, but evidently not on here. So he is currently working as a tag team as well, alongside, yeah, they could potentially utilise him as part of that. As there's the pin now by Tavion Heights on AJ Francis, and there's the freak out, he pulls it off. Good old Tavion. Wow, I was too busy checking through his Wikipedia page to really watch too much of that. That's my fault, I must apologise, but I think it's important for us to understand what it is we're watching. Is he going to hit the old, No, not quite. It was a... No, I do really enjoy the Chaos Fury, I must admit. Nice blockbuster. He's got an impressive moveset, I must admit. AJ Francis did hit this big spear earlier on. It's not the most prettiest spear I've seen in my entire life, I must admit. And look at that, choked down, picked him up and chokeslammed him again. It was quite an impressive match, actually, from AJ Francis, to be honest. He didn't get the victory, but he wasn't that bad at all, really. But eventually it was the opportunity of Tavion Heights here, hitting that big belly-to-belly slam, really showing his Greco-Roman roots, and he picks up the victory. So Tavion Heights on his debut then moves up to a +1 after one match. AJ Francis dropping down to a -2 after 2 matches. Tavion hasn't got any more matches planned this week. I do have a space left at the pay-per-view. Maybe I could use that pay-per-view spot to showcase some of the people that I don't know a lot about a bit more. Maybe take 3 TNA names, 3 NXT names, and do a 6-man elimination match, potentially. I mean, I've already seen the guys from Dark State quite impressed me the other day. We've got Tavion here. We're going to see Hank and Tank wrestle tomorrow that I've not seen before. Who else we've got lined up? We've got TNT, Tariq Igwe, and Tyson DuPont. Steve Macklin, I don't remember. I must have seen him wrestle a few times, but I don't remember bugger all about him either, to be honest. Yeah, we'll have to have a look. I mean, if you've got any suggestions for a match we could add on the pay-per-view, anything you think would be good, I'm more than happy to do so. It's a shame Josh Alexander's gone, because I feel like this guy versus Josh Alexander could have been quite a good match. But obviously Josh Alexander now over in AAA doesn't really work out too much. But yeah, I mean, there's a few people that I would like to use some more of. As part of the tag team and stable, like I said, he's part of No Quarter Catch Crew, which I don't think he's part of anymore. I think they were... he's left that faction as of now. But it's still something we could potentially use him in. Teaming up with one of the other guys and create them as a tag team. Anyway, that is all for this one. I hope you've enjoyed. Of course, if you have, hit the like, subscribe, with the good stuff, and I'll see you again later. We've got one more match planned in today. Talking of the No Quarter Catch Crew, it will be the leader, Noam Dar, and he will be going up against Brian Myers, a real experience versus youth. Then again, I don't think Noam Dar's that young. I remember watching Noam Dar wrestle live in the UK quite a few years back now. He's 32, okay. So he's not terrible, but he's, yeah. He is 32, okay. Well, there we go. Tavion Heights, well done to you. Debut victory. And we move on then to our next match of the day. Good night.